learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school, I learned that I'm ugly and useless. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. In history, I learned that I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends.
In biology,
In English, I learned that I make people sick. And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes
In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. And in math, I learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today...
The only thing I didn't learn today...
The only thing I didn't learn...
It's why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Let's go! Yeah! Turn up! Turn up! Yeah. You heard that slums, baby.
Hey. You. Speaking of Sierra's baby mama, here he is, Young Future.
Head up, Sierra, yeah.
Hey. Rose.
You know what I'm doing? Head up, Sierra.
He's stupid.
Head up, Sierra, yeah. Head up, Sierra.
This is Sports Kings Live.
Yeah.
Big Mike Rob Calloway back with you for the last 30 minutes of the show. Spreaker.com and the Spreaker app is where you guys can hear us. Make sure you spread the word. Also, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at Sports Kings Live. All right. As we kind of head down the stretch here for the last half hour of the show, told you guys, starting last week, I'm going to start previewing college football. Not all of college football, but just the contenders, people who we feel like will be either in their conference race or actually contending for those 4 playoff spots at the end of college football season. Last week we did a gang of teams in the SEC. We did Ole Miss, we did Mississippi State, we did Tennessee, we did Georgia, we did Alabama and Auburn. I think was all right. Was that all? Did I miss one? We did not do South Carolina. We did not do Florida because they are bad. They're not ranked high enough. We're only doing teams that are ranked in the top 25. So we didn't do Florida. We didn't do Arkansas. We did not do South Carolina. Of course, not Vanderbilt.
We did do Arkansas. We did Arkansas last week.
Sorry, we did Arkansas. We didn't do Kentucky. We didn't do Vanderbilt. Who am I missing? Well, you guys get the point. Top 20 teams only. So today we'll start with the defending national champions. Of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes and their gang of riches. They got more than they know what to do with. Jesus, what the hell happened? Where did my tabs go? Jesus, Rob, did you do this? This your fault, dude?
I did nothing.
Yeah, so you say. All right, so anyway, we know they're running back their Heisman trophy candidate, Ezekiel Elliott. He'll be back, the guy who we saw run over and around and through Alabama and Oregon for the last 2 games of the season. We also have that 3-headed monster at quarterback that at some point is going to have to be whittled down to 1. You have Braxton Miller, you have J.T. Barrett, and you have big old Cardell, right? Braxton Miller seems to still be. We got a tweet from him last week just saying that everything's going well as far as his rehab is going. But the big point in that is that what? He's still rehabbing. That's still happening. This sucks, dude, because I had all this stuff highlighted on this freaking thing. Anyway, quarterback is still in question, but it's not the same kind of questions like, let's say, like as last week we talked about the University of Georgia. It's not that they don't have a quarterback. This is one of the rare situations where usually you hear if you have 3, you have none. This is kind of a different situation because they actually have 3. They actually have 3 viable dudes that can play quarterback for them. They're going to try to make some use out of the tight end, Nick Vanette. As we know, Devin Smith, right? Is that his name? The fast kid from last year. He's in the NFL now. The light skin, 2015 Terry Glenn is what I call him. He's in the NFL right now, running past dude, or hopefully running past dude, because apparently all he did last year was catch touchdowns and long ones, deep ones. So now I have to do this on the fly because all of my notes all the things that I had. So defensively, they played. Well, we saw what their defense was able to do last year against that high-powered Oregon team, as well as against the Alabama team. They only allowed opponents to average 5 yards per play, 3.9 yards per rush, and they only converted a third of the third down conversion. So this is a team that obviously gets off the damn football field. They had 45 sacks and scored 6 defensive touchdowns last year. So this is a team that, again, they're ranked number 1 going into the season. Obviously, if they're ranked number 1, they're ranked number 1 in the Big Ten as well, who has 2 divisions now, the Big Ten East and the Big Ten West. The Ohio State Buckeyes are but they're in the Big Ten West. So continuing on with their defensive, some names that you want to keep an eye out for is the defensive end Joey Bosa, who was the reigning defensive player of the year. Also, they have a tackle named Adolphus Washington. We're not taking it.
You want to play?
Nah, hell no. Nah. This is football. This is college football. Yeah, every answer. Yeah, every answer is gonna be the same one. Yeah, he can't play in this. You gotta do that in like baseball or something, or like badminton or something like that. Obviously, Michael Bennett is now an NFL football player, so that's gonna be a position of that they're gonna be looking for somebody to replace him at. Then there's Joshua Perry, who's coming off at linebacker, who's coming off a 124 tackle season. On the outside, you have Raekwon McMillan.
You want to play?
Who is I told you this. You can't play with a football team.
Raekwon, the chef.
Yeah, Raekwon.
Baby, Charlotte all up in this thing.
Is the middle linebacker. Remind me to say something about like names too in a minute. That's something that came to my mind like weeks ago, and every now and then it pops back up, but I forget to say it during the show. Where am I at? Oh, and then you have their defensive secondary. Eli Apple, he's the best corner. Then you have Doran Grant. Eli Apple with Doran Grant is capable of big things. The safety is experienced hands with Tyvis. God dang it, these damn Tyvis Powell and Von Bell will be the safeties for your defending. See, here I am being stupid. I'm being ESPN stupid.
Defending. For
your 2014 NCAA football champions in the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, well, you know what? Let's do this because I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like free balling this today. We'll pick up tomorrow because it's only for the entire conference. There's only 4 teams that we'll talk, and really only 3, really. But then I threw Michigan in only because of the Jim Harbaugh factor. You know what I mean? Now, not saying that they're going to be a team that contends this year, but we all know that they do have that game at the end of the year with Ohio State. That no matter how bad Michigan is, and how many that Ohio State has won in a row, they've been competitive games. So I just threw them in the mix as a team where they could be a player in the national championship, or I should say the Final Four picture, without actually being there, if they are able to be better than they were last year and good enough to then pull an upset on Ohio State at the end of the season. Not going to talk about Penn State, although James Franklin is going to be in his second year coming out of Vanderbilt, or moving on from Vanderbilt. He's going to be in his second year at Penn State, and the NCAA has totally forgotten about Jerry Sandusky and was like, yeah, our bad. You guys can have everything back. You guys want statues and records back? By all means, you guys got it. So his climb isn't going to be as steep as was once thought. I was one of the people who was like, yeah, this is going to be 1AA football going on at Penn State here for a couple of years. And then the NCAA was like, before these dudes sue the hell out of us and win like everyone else is doing, let's just give everything back. So apparently letting your best friend rape little boys on campus, not that big a deal after all. Initially it probably was, but now that we're probably going to have to go to court on this thing, we'll let it slide. They seem to be all right. Aren't you, whippersnapper? Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't know. It's weird and stupid. So what we'll do, since there's only 4 teams, we'll do a team a day until Thursday. We'll go with Michigan State tomorrow because they've got a Heisman Trophy candidate in quarterback. His last name's Connor. He actually came back to school for this year. Then we'll talk Wisconsin, brand new coach, but he was a coordinator at Wisconsin, so they should, we know what Wisconsin football is. Can I just say Melvin Gordon and then walk away?
Yep.
Can I just say that? Like 2,000 damn yards, like 400 in one game. I'll just say that and I'll drop the mic and walk off. And then there's Michigan. There's also like Indiana, Northwestern, and teams like that. But raise your hand if you really care about those guys. Nah. Like Indiana hadn't been a topic of conversation since Antoine Randall L was playing quarterback there. Oh, yeah, youngsters. Yeah, Antoine Randall L, 3,000 yards passing, 1,000 yard rushing. Put that in your pipe and do what? Light it up? Smoke it. Yeah, Randall L was a bad man. But no one's cared about Indiana football since then. Except the Atlanta Falcons. Right? Their 5th round draft pick. Running back from Indiana, right? Right? Yeah. Come on, Falcons, guy. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I'm right about this. I don't pay attention that much to that, although they're the home team. I don't pay attention that much, but so they did produce a running back of sorts last year. Let me see. I'm trying to go through the rankings here as far as the teams. Okay. So this is why we're not talking about teams like Rutgers. They're ranked 65th in the country. Michigan's 34. What the hell? Is Maryland in the Big Ten?
Maryland, yeah.
They're 57. Okay. Indiana 60. See, this is why. It's just so confusing. This is an ACC ball club. What the hell are they doing? Northwestern. They're Nebraska. We could talk about Nebraska. I mean, they're outside the top 25. They're at 29, and we could talk about them. I'll make the decision as we go on. But then there's Wisconsin, obviously Northwestern, Iowa State, and Illinois. All right. Moving on to the other story in college football. Florida State. The Seminoles have a little problem on their hands. His name is DeAndre Johnson. There's a video that surfaced. You guys can, if you're listening to this on record or once we're done here in the next 16 and a half minutes, you guys can go find this video if you haven't seen it. DeAndre Johnson. Wrong guy. DeAndre Jordan's not punching broad. Sorry. DeAndre Johnson. It's a different guy. I got to get better with names, dude, because I'm going to do that one time and not catch myself. Somebody's going to be like, man, you heard about that? DeAndre Jordan beating bras up. He just got a new deal. No, not that dude. A young kid in Tallahassee playing quarterback, not named Jameis, by the way. But then there's a video of them at the bar, and the story goes something like this. Apparently, he tried to jump this young lady at the bar. She turns around and I guess says something to him. He grabs her shoulders. She swings at him, and then he swings back and connects. And now the only story that you're hearing is the story of this dude that he assaulted a female. His family ain't trying to hear that. His family's wondering why this young lady isn't being charged too for being the instigator. Because as you heard me just say, she swung on him. And then another part of the story is some people that were with him said the part, because you can only see them basically from the waist up, or maybe even the chest up in the video. They're saying that when he grabbed her, when she turned around kind of aggressively, so he kind of put his hands on her, like her shoulders, to keep her hands down. But then she kneed him in the balls. That's what you can't see, and they say that there are witnesses that can corroborate that part of the story. So she kicked him in the balls.
Always a bad move.
And then she tried to swing on him, and then he popped her. See, there's a reason to hit everybody. I know it's unpopular. It's unpopular to say stuff like that because, of course, but she's a woman. You know who else knew that? She knew that. She knew that. She knows that better than anybody else, that she's a woman. And I'm gonna always say this, that you can't pull the woman card when it's convenient for you. You don't just get this. You don't get to just assault people. I don't care who you are. I don't care what he does, if he's a football player or if he's a damn table tennis player. Because that's what they'll say, too. But he's a big, strong football player. Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah.
Everybody, keep your hands to yourself. I keep saying it. Everybody, man or woman, Keep your damn hands to yourself. But you just don't get to be a woman when it's convenient for you. Because when you acting like a